Hi, Ben Johnson here to record this week's High Tech Friday. This week we take a look at Peardeck, which is a wonderful new website. I'm going to recommend it for three things. First, it can essentially replace your smartboard. Instead of only engaging one student at the smartboard, you can push your presentation out to all of your students' devices and engage all of the students in your room. Second, it can replace the old clickers that teachers used to like in the old days that you would pass out and have students respond through a clicker. Now their one-to-one device replaces that clicker. And then thirdly, I'm going to recommend that students use this when they prepare their own class presentations. I've been in rooms where students have presented their sessions before, and what I notice is that the rest of their classmates generally check out. If you require your students to make their presentation in Peardeck and you have them add interactive elements between slides, that will force their classmates to stay tuned in to what they're presenting about. So I think that's a really nice way to use it. So how does it work? Go ahead and open up Chrome and go to Peardeck.com. It'll take you to a screen that looks like this. The wonderful thing about Peardeck is that it integrates with your Google Drive, and there's some nice new integration with the Google Classroom so that you can push this out to your students automatically. So once you get to this screen, you're going to go ahead and just sign in with your Google account to get started. Now I'm already signed in, so it's going to take me directly into the interface, but otherwise you would just use your Google account, your school district account if you're going to use it with Google Classroom. You'll get to a screen like this. Yours will probably be blank because I've already created a few presentations here. What you'll want to do is begin by creating a new deck, and then I'll show you how to turn on the Google Classroom integration here in a second. Now I did do the 30-day free trial upgrade. The educator price is about $8 a month, which is probably well worth it if you consider out how much money your school has spent on the infrastructure and the hardware. $8 a month for a nice tool like this one I think is reasonable considering what it does. Now, if you can't afford that out of pocket, go to your department chair, go to your school's tech committee, go to your district's ed tech team, and see if they can figure out a way to pay for a subscription. Peardeck does have like 10 user packs that are reduced. They do have all school pricing. So anyway, however you figure out how to pay for it, I think this tool is probably well worth that fee. But if you can't find a way to pay for it, the free version is also good. It just doesn't have quite as much potential. I'll try to just show you the free things though today. So once you get in, you'll hit create a new deck. And think of this very much as your old PowerPoint presentation or your smartboard notebook presentation or your Google presentation. It works very much like those products. So you can start by changing the name, and for the case of our example today, I'll just call this your presentation. Maybe I'll pretend to be a student making a presentation. I'll go ahead and rename that. Now this actually shows up in your Google Drive. It makes a new folder in your Google Drive called Peardeck, and then inside of that they have decks, and then within that are your individual presentations. So this one is called, this one will be in my Google Drive called European Presentation. You or students will just hit this plus sign. These are the different types of slides that you can make. You can see some of these are premium. But you can make a standard old non-interactive slide just by choosing that one. And here you could just do type in a slide. You can add images, and it has a Google image search right here. And these are approved for commercial use, so you don't have to worry about the copyright around these slides. Now you can add your own slides that you go out and save images of, but just to add a quick graphic like that, super easy. Do another non-interactive. You can add YouTube videos. So maybe I want to do Rick Steves Europe here, and I can search for that video. Oh, should have typed that here, sorry. Rick Steves Europe. The last box was to paste your own address. So I'll do Rick Steves European Christmas. So adding YouTube videos here, super easy, whether it's you or the student producing it. And then I'll add just another non-interactive slide. Now these non-interactive slides are not really where the power comes in, but I just wanted to quickly show you that you can create the same sort of slides that you would in any of the other popular programs that you've used previously. Now there is a feature where you can import slides, and that screen shows up right initially when you first launch Peardeck. The free version only allows you to upload 5 times, I believe. So if you have a lot of old presentations that you're bringing into Peardeck, you might again just go ahead and at least do that 30-day subscription to get those all uploaded. Otherwise you can just do, and it brings those in from Google Slides and PDF, so there's a number of ways that you can import presentations. You can push out websites to students also, but they need to be secure websites. They just don't want you to push out unsecured websites. So for instance, all of Wikipedia's websites are secure. You just want to look for that S in the URL. So if I want to be able to push this out to a student website, I can just grab that address and add the website here, and notice that it does need to be secure. Now when I'm showing this presentation, students will be able to interact with that website as long as I'm on this slide. And again, the power of this over, say, a smartboard is that if I had this website on my smartboard, I could choose one student to interact with it. This way I can push this website out to all my students and allow them to interact with this slideshow all at once. This website in particular. Now here's where the power comes in. The choose an answer, write a number, and write text are wonderful tools. So I'll just do a quick choose an answer, and I'll say which country is shown below. And then over here I can have my answers. So I'll do Germany, France, England. I can add more items if I want, and then here I can add the image of, say, France, and I should get a blank map here. And for the sake of time, I'll just quickly add this one. And now your students are going to indicate on their screen which country that is. Now in Peardeck, you don't indicate the correct answer, so when it's all done you would download those results and grade it with Flubaroo. So that's a little bit different than some of the other tools that you've used in the past. So again, you would download these Excel results in Flubaroo and grade those with that tool. Alright, I can continue to add others, like write a number. So I could do how many countries make up Europe. Okay. Peardeck is going to do some neat things with automatically generating box and whisker plots for you with this tool. So it does some really nice things for you automatically. Here I could do written text, and I could say which is your favorite European country, and then why, and this is going to give students a text box to type into. Just tell your students when you deploy this that their Google ID gets stamped on here, and so if they do say anything inappropriate, you'll be able to track it back to the student who indicated that, so just tell them to make good decisions around that. And then you can display all their answers on your teacher screen, which is a wonderful tool. These premium features are really nice, but I'm going to show you a way to kind of get around paying for them if you don't have that budget. You can use any of these, draw something, drag a dot. You can use those for free, and I'll show you that when I deploy. But if you pay for it, you can use these with your own pictures. So dragging a dot for a math teacher would be really nice with graphing, that sort of thing. But really for any teacher that works with diagrams or maps, that drag a dot would be really nice. Dragging a line, again, for math teachers, wonderful tool. Draw something. I'll show you how you can do that for free. But a neat tool. Again, if you had a smartboard, you could choose one student to come up to the smartboard and draw something. With this tool, you can push it out to all the kids, and now all of the kids have a smartboard on their one-to-one device. So whether it's a math equation or a science diagram or an art drawing for that matter, this draw something is nice. Drawing a picture, you have to have that premium account for this particular one. There's not really any way around that, but I'll show you how to get around some of these others in a second. Okay, so now how do you deploy this thing for students to take? Once you're done, you can come back to um, your home screen, which is the default when you log in, and you can see now this European presentation, and I'll just go ahead and I could either edit it to make changes and start presenting from this screen, or I could have presented from back there. So I'll start presenting. Now if you've enabled your Google Classroom, you can push it out right through your Google Classroom, but I'm just going to go ahead and do the student view here. So you'll just indicate to your students to go to this address, and I can actually do this here right in my browser. And then students will need to type in that code, and you'll just have that up on the projector. And so I'll just sign in with this account, and I'll paste that code in. So you can test this. You can be both in student and teacher mode as you go through this. Okay, and then it's just telling the student to wait until the teacher advances. So as a teacher, I just advanced here, and you can see I push this out to the student's laptop. This is what they'll see, and I can just forward through these. On the student's laptop, it'll tell you to look up front as your student plays this. Now as a teacher, I can ask questions just off the cuff, and so I can come down here to this question mark and ask about anything, and I'll just ask my students to agree or disagree. And as the teacher, I would just tell them the statement, do you know a lot about Europe? And then teachers or students on theirs could come in and place this dot along the spectrum. Okay, so I'm going to put disagree as a student. Now as the teacher, you can lock those student responses with the padlock, and then you can show them. So if you can imagine, if you had 30 students in here, you would see dots all along the spectrum, which would be a nice sort of formative assessment, maybe a pre-assessment to determine what you're going to talk about during that day. All right, and then I'll just go ahead and advance. Now as a teacher, I could ask other questions off the cuff. Pretend like I'm a math teacher, so I could say about anything, and I could do a draw on grid, and now I could tell my students to plot x equals 5, y is 2. So then students would do x is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So students could go ahead and put their dot here, and then the teacher again could lock the screens and show with this eye where the students thought 5-2 was, and it will just make a slide for each student, and as a teacher you can scroll down that page to see what the students were thinking. So a really nice tool, and then teachers can just ask those about anything. You could do draw on blank, and so here I could tell students draw a picture of a cell, and then students here could use the colors and using their mouse draw a picture of a cell. You could even have them go ahead and label their drawing. And I'm doing this with the free version at this point, so you don't have to pay to use these features. You just don't get to choose the particular background that's being used. Okay, and that does have an eraser. So again, I've given each student a smartboard here. Okay, so as the teacher, again, I can just continue to go through here. I'm quickly trying to get this done within my 15 minutes. And which country shown below on the student screen. They're now going to see the choice here, and they would indicate the answer that they choose. As the teacher, I can lock that, show answers. Again, I would get a nice plot here, and just trying to get through this real quickly. How many countries make up Europe? Again, students could type their answers here, post it. Teachers then can freeze and show the box and whisker here. So wonderful tool. Here in the next video I'll show you how to download those results, but this is a quick and dirty of getting started.